The text that I'm using here is this spiders.txt. And it starts off with "Don't worry, spiders." I like this because we need to get rid of the apostrophe in "don't," and we need to get rid of the 2 commas. We need to end up with a list that is DONT, and then worry, and then spiders. And then we're going to use that to encode those. So let's talk for a minute about how we can use a regular expression to get rid of the things that we don't want. So in this case, we're going to define a character class that is A to Z, 0 to 9. We've used this before, and we're going to really talk in this exercise about what that really means, what we're really saying there. So in order to play around with this idea, I'm going to go in here into my REPL, and I'm going to say import re. Let me make this a little larger for those of you at home. And let's say I'm going to use the re find all. And I want to define a character class that is A to Z, capital, A to Z, lowercase, 0 to 9. And then, so that's my character class. And if I'm giving it the word, for instance, don't, and I need to put this into double quotes because there's a single quote here. If I find that, it's going to find the letters in the word, so D, O, N, and T, and it's skipping the punctuation here because that's not in the character class. So if we want to reverse that character class, we can put a caret just inside as the first character of the character class. So if we reverse this, if we complement it by putting a caret here, then it finds the apostrophe, which is awesome. So it's a lot of times it's easier to define what you want to find and then to negate it with a character class like this rather than try to define all the things you are trying to find. Like for instance, you're trying to find anything that is not these letters. Well, there's thousands and thousands, especially if you take into account Unicode. We don't want to encode anything outside of the range of these very few characters. If you want to change your program to handle higher order Unicode, that's totally fine. But for this exercise, this is what we're going to stick with. So that's how we create a character class, and then that's how we negate the character class. I can use this pattern to get rid of all the characters that I don't want. And I can use the re.sub function. So if I go here and I change find all to sub, so I'm saying substitute this pattern. When you find this pattern, substitute it with the empty string. And what that's going to return is the word don't with the apostrophe removed. That's pretty handy. So regular expressions are really just one of the handiest things I can imagine. And one of the fantastic things about them is that you learn it in Python. You can take it to Perl, you can take it to Ruby, any other, you can take it to all kind of command line options, command line programs like grep and sed and awk will all use those. So really amazing thing to learn. So next we're going to talk about ordinal characters and ranges.